What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today we're taking a look at the budget-friendly Abu Garcia Vengeance combo. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted this deal on my story a while back. I think it was when the Classic was going on. They had this combo on sale for 65 bucks, or if you bought two, you got them for 50 bucks each. So you could have got this as little as 50 bucks. Today I'll take you through a close-up look at the rod and reel and give you the specifications, discuss what I think are the pros and cons of this reel and this rod, and finally discuss my final thoughts on how this combo did out on the water testing it. Yes, it's been super cold here in Iowa. I did get out, but I got to test this, and that was fun. So enough yapping, let's take a closer look at the features. Starting with the reel. So the reel in this was the part that I wasn't really sure about. I've never really seen this style reel. Y'all know I have the Abu Garcia Max X, which is the exact same body and shape of this. This is the Jordan Lee reel. Max X is over there, but the exact same body shape of this, and I kind of thought this is what they were moving to, and it's not even really the shape of like the old Black Max, so I wasn't sure what to think of this reel. But this is a 4+1 bearing reel. They did note that it does have a brass main gear in there. Spool tension does not click, and it doesn't feel that tight. Now, I personally don't care if they click or not. I like them to be tight where they're hard to move, so you don't actually bump it. And you can see I can just barely, it's a better view, I can just barely move that without using much pressure from just my finger. So I don't like that. I wish it was tighter, but again, you know, this is a budget reel. Drag on it does click. It's not the loudest, most positive, and the same for the magnetic brakes. I noticed, listen to this. And you can even see when I go to click this, there's quite a bit of movement before it actually clicks in the notches there. So I wouldn't say it's the most finite adjustment. And again, a graphite frame, graphite side plate reel at the budget price. So keep that in mind. You know, don't be comparing this to a $300 reel. So on the good side though, it does have the regular MagTrack brakes, which are the same brakes that you would find in this and the other kind of reels, you know, like the Revo X and some of the other reels kind of around that price. The side plate is a little bit different. You pop this little switch down here, and it's not a twist side plate. Kind of got to take it off. You got to kind of finagle it here. I don't necessarily love that, but you shouldn't have to be getting in here when you're out on the water anyway. It is just a regular magnetic brakes. Now notice it has six discs as compared to the Max X or this Jordan Lee, which has the 5. So I don't know that that's really a big deal or anything, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Putting the side plate back on is pretty easy. Just put it on, it goes straight back on, click that in place, and you're good to go. They note that this has 15 pounds of drag, and the line holding is right there. Monofilament, 12 pound, 130 yards. That should be good enough for me. I got the 6-4-1. Off the link below, I don't know what all gear ratios this comes in, but it brings in 20 inches of line, which is good as an all-around combo. I put some 12-pound fluorocarbon on here, and it casted really well. We'll talk about that more. Now, the rod, this might look familiar to some of you. This is the Abu Garcia Vengeance rod. I had one of these a long time ago when I started getting new gear. A gentleman here, I bought a bunch of his used gear. This was one of them, and I really like this rod. The first thing for me that I noticed was the reel trigger and how it has this like kind of defined hook on it. This was the first rod that ever had that I had used, and I personally really like that. I know my old man hates this. Some people like more of a low profile reel trigger here, but I feel like I could literally hold this with my ring finger and it's not coming off. You know, some of these have like a little tiny one that's just barely right there, and if you just move a little bit, it's popping off. So I like that. I feel like you get a good positive grip on it. I like that it does have the EVA reel nut here that tightens down on your reel. That's comfortable because I hold my hand like this and I put my finger under the line and hold it right there. So it's nice and comfortable, nothing sharp. It has the EVA going down to the bottom. I can't really turn it there, but you can see it does have the Abu Garcia logo. I picked up the medium heavy. You can see it's the 7-foot medium heavy, rated for lures up to 1 ounce, 12 to 20 pound line, and I did put the 12-pound fluorocarbon on. The grips remind me pretty much of the Luz grips, and I'm sure this is made in the same factory where Luz is made. I think Abu's made in the same place, Doyo or whatever, but I don't really love these paddles. They're not really that grippy, kind of slick. I do really like the paddles that they upgraded to on these. It's got this rubbery material in here, and I do get a really good purchase on it. So that is kind of a downgrade. I do really like the hook keeper though. I like this. It's got a big enough round piece there where you can stick hooks through it, like treble hooks and such. But if you've got like a Texas rig or jig, you can just hook it on there and you don't have to unhook the plastic or mess with it a bunch. If you roll up to a spot and you want to get this ready, pull it out and flip it in there. The guides, like I said, I had this rod some time ago. It is a 24-ton blank. I didn't have issues with the guides. They're not like the smallest guides, but they're not like huge. So I personally didn't mind them. If you're going like braid to a leader or something, these would be fine. They're not super micro. All the way up to the tip there, you can see. Overall, I thought this was and is still a good budget rod. I liked it the first time I had it around, and I actually had this out on the water testing it. So enough with the up close looks. Let's go talk about some of the pros and cons of this combo. All right, so the number one thing that jumped out to me for this was obviously the price. I have people ask me all the time on gear recommendations, and I love it. I literally love sitting down with people and talking about what are you using it for, how do you use it, where. And oftentimes it's, I can't spend a ton of money on a combo. What's a good budget rig? I think this fits the bill for a lot of people out. Right around $100 for a combo is pretty darn good. And this combo, normally the Vengeance combo is $109. If you got it on sale, like I said, $65 for this is a pretty sweet deal. I believe the rod alone, and I had this rod quite some time ago when I got back into fishing and got some new gear. I bought some stuff from a guy locally and got an Abu Garcia Vengeance rod, and I liked it a lot. That was the first time, kind of as I talked about before, I had the first experience with their reel trigger deal here, and I really like the Abu Garcia reel trigger. I literally can have just like my ring finger on it. I feel like I'm not losing it. Now, it's not for everybody. Like I said, my dad hates reel triggers. He would just assume have all these cut off and not have one. So it's a personal preference thing. Now this kind of puts me in a tough place because though this is a good budget buy, the Max X that they just put out, I haven't got to get enough time in with this reel, but I really like that Max X reel. I think it might be one of the best budget reels out there, but I think that combo's like, what, $90? So it's kind of an interesting place to be in. Why not just put the Max X on this and run that combo? I don't know how pricing goes and such with them, if it's a tiered list deal or what, but it's tough for me because I did like that Max X reel. I just didn't really like the Max X rod. I think this is definitely a better rod, but I don't know. We'll see. More testing. Now, the second big pro to this, I was honestly really surprised at how this casted. Now, I have never seen this reel, never heard of it. It looks like a generic, like mix between like an LFS or I don't know. I've never seen this reel, so it must just be like for their budget line. Again, surprised me that they didn't use the same body style as this, the Max series. This is the Jordan Lee. This is like a $109 reel, but it shares the exact same body, exact same side plate fit as that Max X reel, which is like $59. So I was kind of confused on that. Why not just have, the Max X on here? I don't know. However, I was pleasantly surprised at how this reel casted. It was really easy to set up. When I took you through the specifics, it doesn't have I feel like the most quality parts on it, which again, it's, a $50-ish reel, but taking it out and actually on the water, it casted really well. I didn't have any issues with backlash. I put 12-pound fluorocarbon on here. I was throwing the little 1/4 ounce underspin setup here. It's actually a tri-spin that I made. Ooh, that baby's hot. But cast it with 12-pound fluorocarbon and it did absolutely great. I didn't have a single backlash. So though I was kind of doubtful in the beginning, casting of it was great. I didn't have any complaints. Easy to dial in. Now, is it going to win any, casting distance competitions? Probably not. However, just for your regular, weekend angler, grab one of these to go out, keep it in the truck. Did well. Now the third pro to this is feel in hand. It's a very recognizable feel. Like when you put this in hand, it doesn't feel like it's some big, long, weird reel. I mean, it fits in my hand really well. As I've told you all before, I have pretty average hands. I can just barely palm a basketball and it fits perfect. I have my pinky behind the reel trigger. I always put my finger up here to finger the line. It's got that soft foam, which I really like when companies do that. That way when I lay my finger up here, it's not, aggressive or sharp or anything. So feel in hand is actually really, really comfortable. And again, talking about a pro, I personally really like that Abu Garcia does this on their reels. I like the reel trigger that has the little curve. It feels like once I lock this in my hand, it is not going anywhere. Like I could get in a tug of war with some sumo wrestler and it's not leaving. That's a lie. They would punch me and take this rod to Lake Biwa and catch like a 20-pounder and laugh at dummy old Debo and his dinks. But anyway, very, very comfortable in hand. I like that. Okay, on the other side of the coin, let's talk about a couple of the cons to this combo. So as I talked about over there, the close-up, I feel like there might be some fit and finish issues. Like I said, I don't know how well you can hear it here since I've got line on it, but hear that kind of scraping noise? That was one thing I noticed with no line on this, without a lure cast out or anything. When I was just testing it here, I'm like, oh, what's that grinding on? It feels like something is rubbing on the inside of the frame, the handle side plate. I don't know what it was. However, I will say that once I casted a lure out, this thing was actually pretty smooth. It took that away and I didn't feel that grindy deal. So I don't know if it's kind of an alignment issue. Once it has just a little bit of tension, it fixes it. So actually using it out on the water, didn't notice that, but kind of fit and feel here, I don't know. Now again, this is a graphite frame reel, graphite side plates, so I'm not sure if it's, you know, a fit and finish deal here, if the tolerances aren't great. Probably not, you know. It's not a $300-400 reel, but it's fine. Remember, we're keeping this in mind, what kind of combo this is. It's a $109 combo, so you know, for what it is, I think once you actually get a lure on and start casting, it takes care of that, but just kind of being cognizant it's not the smoothest reel that I have. Okay, the second con, I kind of already touched on it a little bit, is, you know, that fit and finish and durability. So again, with this being a graphite framed and side plate reel, longevity is always an issue. So I would recommend, you know, not locking the drag down, not really abusing this. And it depends on how much you fish. If you're somebody who can only get out 1 or 2 weekends a month, you're not going to notice the durability issue deal. You're probably not catching 100 fish on every trip, right? Whereas if you're somebody who fishes every day, you're fishing in tournaments, you know, you're putting in 3 12-hour days on the weekend, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, you're going to notice that and your combo is going to wear down quicker. So that's something I always tell people to keep in mind when you're getting, you know, a lesser priced graphite reel, something like that. Keep in mind how long it's going to last and how much you're fishing. Okay, so what were my final thoughts on this combo after actually getting it out on the water and using it? You can look at combos on paper. Some of them look awesome. Some of them look like crap. But once you actually get them out and test them, I'm a big proponent of that. Testing something before I just say, you know, it's good or bad, can completely change your outlook. And that was the first thing for me, is I had never seen this reel, never heard of the reel. Like I said, didn't feel the best when I was, you know, just spinning it in my hand. I was pleasantly surprised when I got it out and actually casted it. It's got the same magnetic brakes as in the other Baitcasters, you know, your regular mag track brakes. Everything worked fine, easy to dial in. Maybe didn't feel like, you know, the most high quality clicking side plate. However, the magnets worked awesome. I didn't have a single backlash with this. Cast it pretty well. Like I said, it's probably not going to be the farthest bait casting reel that I have. However, for the price of it, I was pleasantly surprised. And again, to kind of aid that, I guess I should have said this first, was how easy it was to dial in. Like I said, the brakes worked well on it. The spool tension, though it is a little loose, I was able to get it all set and didn't have a single backlash with it. So some reels, even more expensive reels, 3-4 times this price, I might have to do a little tinkering to get it where I want it. I didn't have to mess with this. I set the brakes at, and that's where they were. Worked perfect for me. I had the spool tension set just to remove the side-to-side clicky play, and worked really good. So I was surprised by that. And the third biggest thing for me is I would have no issue holding this all day, even working a jig. There's some of my combos where they put this reel trigger back a little bit, so you can see where that is in relation to the reel foot. Basically at the same spot of the reel foot. Some of these are back a little bit to like the actual front of the reel. So imagine this part being back here where my finger is. It makes a difference, you know, depending on how you like to hold your reel. This one is crazy comfortable. Again, only if you like that kind of trigger reel part here. I know some people really hate that. I feel like it gives me a really good grip, and in hand I could fish this all day. I don't care about the weight, you know. I know sometimes weight can be an issue, but if I'm just casting a spinnerbait or a chatterbait around like this, if it fits comfortable and locks in my hand well, even though it might be a little bit more heavier than some of my other combos, I don't care. This feels really good, you know. I could spend $1,000 on a combo, and if it's not comfortable on my hand, I guarantee I'm going to go back, or you're going to be going back to something that's more comfortable and easier to fish all day. So comment below, let me know, have you used the Abu Garcia Vengeance rod? I believe they sell these at Walmart, I think, 50 bucks. 24-ton graphite blank. You know, the guides, I didn't have issues on my old one. Hopefully I don't have issues on this. It held up for me well. The reel, didn't ever hear about it, wasn't too sure about it, but it casted pretty well. We'll just see how it holds up. Comment below and let me know, have you ever used this rod or this combo, and let me know what your experience is. And today's subscribe fishing friend is my guy N Stone. Thank you, sir, for watching, supporting, and commenting. I appreciate you and everybody else who continues to follow me on this journey. I can't believe we've got this many subscribe fishing friends watching, still supporting me. I'm a guy in his basement filming fishing videos. So thank you all for the continued support, and let me know, comment below if there's a combo, a budget reel, rod, something that you all want to see me test out. I like to use things all up and down the spectrum. You know, the more expensive stuff to the budget stuff. Doesn't matter to me if it works. I just want to share my experience with you all. So if there's something you want to see, comment below and let me know. But it is late. I need to get to editing, so thank you all very much for watching, and until next time.